Hi and good day, I'm Hamiza and I will explain about buy or sell stock on technical analysis based on 5 indicators. Axiata Group Berhad or Axiata, formerly known as TM International Berhad, is a Malaysian multinational telecommunication conglomerate with extensive operation in Asia. First indicator is moving average. The signal set by moving average was recorded on 19 January 2023. It might consider that this signal is already obsolete and it would not recommend for the investor for any buying for this counter. Based on the analysis, I would consider for those who plan to buy to hold decision to buy until the next signal. Whereas, if you are considered to sell for this counter, I advise to hold your decision until you have a confident on selling signal. MACD or moving average convergent divergent is a trend following momentum indicator that shows the relationship between two exponential moving average of a securities price. For these indicators, a buy signal appears when the MACD line across the signal line and a sell signal appears when the MACD line crosses below the signal line. Based on the chart, MACD is at negative 0.021, which is close to the equilibrium line that is in between buy or sell. Based on this indicator, the signal is very weak. It is neither buy nor sell. You may hold the decision to buy or sell. ROC or rate of change is a momentum-based technical indicator that measures the percentage change in price between the current price and the price in a certain number of periods ago. For this indicator, the movement of ROC is at negative 7.1%, that reaching upward and it may believe to reach near overbought soon. Therefore, this indicator will give a selling signal. For this potential, it is recommended whoever want to buy, this is not the right time since the price will be moved upward and create a sell signal. The investor need to wait for some time until the ROC line reach the overbought signal. As for relative strength index or RSI, the RSI line is at 46.6, which is not touched to 70%. Therefore, for the investor who plan to buy, this is not the right time to buy, and for the investor who wants to sell, the investor need to wait until the RSI line reach the overbought signal. In this situation, the decision is hold to buy. For stochastic indicator of Axiata, the K line is reached 11.1% of the 20% of oversold line. Therefore, it is reaching a signal to buy. In this situation, for the investor who plan to buy, it is recommended to hold until the K line is reached oversold line. Whereas, for the investor that plan to sell, it is recommended to wait the decision to sell until the investor very confident or high significant on sell conclusion. Based on analysis of 5 indicators, my final recommendation would be hold the decision to buy or sell.
Hi, I am Israel and I will briefly explain about the technical analysis on GDEX, particularly on the date of 10 of January 2023. GDEX, or also known as GD Express, startup was in 1997 and today it already has over 150 stations in both Malaysia as well as Singapore. That this GDEX is focusing on express delivery and logistics. So the vertical line had been set up on 13th of January 2023, and at that time the price of GDAX stock was at 0.165. So moving on to the second stock indicator, which is the MACD, or Moving Average Convergent Divergence, that give analysts an idea about the changes in share price momentum. So on 10th of January 2023, we can see that the MACD line indicated by the blue line was at 0.01, which was above than the signal line, which is the red line, that was at 0.07, and it was at peak on this date, on 10th of January, before it started to slope down the next day. So therefore it is advisable for the investor to sell GDAX stock on this date to avoid further loss from holding the stock, and do not engage to buy as the trend is started to going down. So traders should wait for any buying signal appearance. The next indicator is the rate of change, or ROC. This rate of change indicator is a pure momentum indicator, meaning that it provides the rate of price changes over a period of time. So for GDAX stock on 10th of January 2023, the ROC line, which is indicated by the green line, was at above zero, particularly at 20%. And the trend showed bearishness or declining, as it has started to decline since the day before, which was on 9th of January. Therefore, based on this ROC indicator, it is advisable to sell GDAX stock on 10th of January and hold to buy. RSI is a momentum indicator like ROC. RSI provides analysis for the internal strength of the stock against itself, whereby it usually oscillates from 0 to 100%, and when it oscillates above 50%, it indicates overbought, while below 50%, it indicates oversold, whereby the extreme point is at 70% and 30%. So RSI can help to pinpoint the buying and selling signals based on two things, which are first the crossover between the divergence and the graph, and second is through reversal trend from either peak or trough. So in case of GDAX stock, we can see there was a peak from 6 to 9 January and a reversal on 10th of January that indicate selling signal. Furthermore, during this time, the RSI was oscillating above 50%, which indicates overbought, and probability of this stock being too much of acquisition, and people might consider to liquidify it as the trend goes by. So therefore, it is advisable to sell GDAX stock on 10th of January. For stochastic indicator evaluates the market momentum, particularly related to closing price. It measures the closing price in relation to the total price range from a certain number of time period. When this indicator fluctuates more than 80%, it gives perception that the closing price is at that time is near the top range, while if it is below 20%, it means that the closing price is at the bottom of the average range. So there are two lines, which are the percentage K and percentage D, and usually this K line fluctuate faster than D, but D provides the major signal. So let's take a look on a stochastic indicator for GDAX stock. On 10th of January, the value of K was at 72.7%, but D was at 84.8%, which means that the closing price on this date was near the top of price range. Plus, previously, there was an intersection between K and D lines on 9th of January that indicate a reversal that indicates a reversal trend might happen, which was indeed happening on 10th of January. And from 10th of January, it started to show a downtrend, thus giving a selling signal. So it is better to sell GDAX stock on 10th of January and wait for buying signal to appear. So all of the 5 indicators that being explained previously give a selling signal. Therefore, it is advisable to sell GDAX stock on 10th of January 2023 in order to gain profit and to avoid further loss. While for the traders or investors that want to buy GDAX stock, it's better to wait for the buying signal.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Maizatul Lidia Akmal binti Masrudi. My ID number is 2018809712. The counter I choose is Impiana Hotel Berhad. Impiana Hotel Berhad, formerly known as Bio Osmo Berhad, is a Malaysia-based company that owns and operates hotel and resort. The company hotel include Impiana Private Villa Katanoi, Phuket, Impiana Resort Patong, Impiana Resort Chaveng Noi, Impiana KLCC Hotel, Impiana Hotel Ipoh, Impiana Hotel Senai, and others. This company also provides spa service to their customer. Its hotel and resort mainly located in Malaysia and Thailand. First, moving average. When the moving average was calculated using the most recent price, neither a buy nor a sell signal was present. Due to the lack of connection between the price movement and the short-term moving average, it has a poor signal. So, I decided to hold the stock till the signal was generated in this case. MACD. MACD is therefore at the equilibrium line. Therefore, we must hold the stock until it generates a fresh signal in the oversold or overbought range. Rate of changes, ROC. Based on ROC on Impiana counters last trading dates of 29 October 2022, they generate a buy signal when it crosses the oversold lines. So we decide to acquire the stock before it starts to rise in price. Next is RSI. The line cross either an oversold or overbought line when a strong indicator appears. Because it is oversold over the line, the Impian stock generates a strong buy signal and a major signal. So I decide to buy the stock at the final time it is traded. Next is stochastic. Because the momentum line creates a crossover line, Impiana stock generates a buy signal based on the stochastic. Due to the fact that it's crossed the boundary, it is very important. The stock may be purchased for a little SRM 54 cents at the most recent pricing. For the conclusion, for my suggestion, it is indicated that 3 signal, which is ROC, RSI and stochastic, show the buy signal, while the MACD and moving average indicate a hold. Therefore, our choice and advice to the investor is to purchase the stock at the most recent price, because the bulk of indicators suggest doing so before the price moving begin to rise.
Telecommunications is one of the companies that provide mobile phone service. Digi was the first telecommunication company in Malaysia to develop and operate a cellular network. Moving average. When the moving average was calculated using the most recent price, neither a buy or a sell signal was present. Due to the lack of a connection between the price movement and the short-term moving average, it has a poor signal. For recommendation, I decide to keep the stock till the signal was generated in this case. Rate of change. Based on the most recent ROC price for Digi counter, it is not clear whether to purchase or sell the stock. Therefore, until the signal was generated, the ROC line should be hold the stock. For recommendation, I decide to keep the stock in place until a signal is produced by the price. Strength Index (RSI). Based on the RSI, the price signal for digistock is generated when it crosses the oversold line, and it also generated when the signal falls below 30%. When the line crosses either the oversold or overbought line, a strong signal is generated. Because digistock has over the oversold line, it generates a strong buy signal and has a substantial signal. For recommendation, I decide to purchase the share at the most recent price. ACD cross the overbought line, the momentum line generates a recommendation to sell. It generates a sell signal for the investors to sell their stock. When to purchase or sell stock is determined by the signal that generated by the MACD. It has a huge impact that is cross the overbought line. For recommendation, I decide to sell it at RM1.35. Momentum line cause a crossover source line on the stochastic. Digistock generate a buy signal. For conclusion, for the suggestion, it is indicated that these are three signals: a buy signal created by the MACD, RSI, and stochastic, and hold signal created by the moving average and ROC. Therefore, our choice and advice to the investor to purchase the stock at the most recent price, because the bulk of the indicators suggest doing so before the price movement begin to rise.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Syairah Niza binti Zulkifli. My student ID is 2019643728. Today, I will talk about my counter, which is Mr. DIY. Mr. DIY Group M's Berhad is engaged in the retail of home improvement product and mass merchandise in Malaysia and Brunei. Its products are categorized into hardware, houseware, electrical, car accessory, furniture, stationery, and sport and toys and others. Today, I will talk about the technical analysis that I have been analyzed by myself. Mr. DIY start with the 5 indicators to analyze the buy or sell signal. The first indicator that applies is a moving average. On the 29th of June 2022, when the closing price, the moving average line crossed at RM2.05. It is a buy signal for investor to buy the stock. When the closing price at 8th of August 2022 meet the width of a moving average line, investors are offered a sell signal with closing price is at RM2.60. Next, we move to the next indicator, MACD. The blue line and the red line intersect on 27 June 2022. Then, after intersection, the blue line went above the red line, which indicates the buy signal to the investor. After that, on the 8th of August 2022, the blue line went under the red line. After the intersection, it can be indicated the sell signal to the investor. Next, rate of change. In the graph, it indicated that on 21st of August 2022, the rate of change line reached over the zero line. So, the stock is oversold, which recommended to the investor to buy the stock. The rate of change line also show low momentum when the line start to move close by to the zero. The rate of change line show the sell signal to investor when the line move over the zero line. As we can see in the graph, on 9 December 2022, the investor must sell the stock since the stock went overbought. The relative strength index is a fourth indicator, RSI. The result shows that on the 25th of July 2022, the RSI strength index line crossed 75%, indicating that these company stocks are oversold. For the final indicator, stochastic, On 16th of August 2022, the blue line fell below 23.9%, indicating that it was oversold. When it has been oversold, the investor should begin to buy the stock. Likewise, on 29th of July 2022, the blue line crossed a 91.7%, indicating that investors should sell stock at that time because the price is more. That's all the 5 indicators that I have been analysis. Thank you.